Yeah.
Another guy with New England ties, a former Boston College star. Matt Ryan is the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, and he will be opposing Tom Brady and the Patriots. Now that Matt Ryan has led his team to a Super Bowl, and it looks like he's going to be the NFL MVP, he's certainly the front runner, is he elite? Or what more does he need to show you to be elite?
I think he crossed over into that elite threshold this year.
Wow.
And I don't
Just like that.
Yes, and I don't think he was there before, but I think with what he was able to do this year, and I know he's got a lot of pieces around him, so that helps, but this offense really worked well because it was Matt Ryan. Kyle Shanahan aided him. But come on, you got to give the credit to Matt Ryan. And because of that, regular season MVP, we're assuming, and taking his team to the Super Bowl, to me, makes you an elite quarterback, especially in this day and age, if you're able to do both. And he's able to win the Super Bowl, forget about it. It's hands down he's elite. But just getting his team there, I think, is enough.
Yeah, so then did you think that Cam Newton was elite last year?
I did.
And you think he's elite now?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, you have a very liberal, definition of elite. Because here's the question. A lot of people still wonder if Eli Manning is elite, if Ben Roethlisberger is elite. These guys have multiple rings. Some people are wondering about Joe Flacco. At least he has one. I think you have to have at least a Super Bowl ring to even be in the conversation. I'm not sure if I can even say Joe Flacco's elite. I think you're talking about I'm going to reserve that for guys like Tom Brady, obviously. I think Drew Brees is there. Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. So he's elite even though he only has one Super Bowl ring.
So if you're a Hall of Famer, that makes you elite by default, right?
Yes and yeah, I guess to some degree. Yeah, I guess yes.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay.
I have no problem with putting Ben and Eli in that conversation.
Me either.
I don't know about Flacco. And that's the line because he's got one versus the other guys who have two.
Right.
Plus.
But I feel like
with the exception of Drew Brees.
But I feel like it's not always based on rings because
no, but I think you have to at least win
Flacco.
a champion. My point is you had to have at least a championship ring. So Flacco is ahead of both Cam Newton as well. Russell Wilson's, then you have to put Russell Wilson in that conversation. Do you feel Russell Wilson's elite?
Yes, I do.
Okay. At least he's got a ring. And he took a team also back to the Super Bowl. I don't know if Matt Ryan is elite. Not that he can't be. He's just not now.
So your line is
maybe in 2 weeks we have this discussion. I can say, all right, Matt Ryan's elite.
So what about
that's minimum? That's minimum is a ring.
Just a ring, okay?
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say there are a lot of quarterbacks out there that have Super Bowl rings that are definitely not elite.
That's a minimum to me. Is that you have to have a championship ring.
So if Matt Ryan wins the Super Bowl, he's elite. If he doesn't win the Super Bowl. Hold on.
No.
If Matt Ryan beats Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, he has to be elite.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, come on.
Well, are we talking about for his career or just for this season? Because there's no talk about just this season. Yeah, he's the best quarterback this season, arguably this season. He along with Tom Brady.
If Matt Ryan beats Tom Brady in the Super Bowl,
that doesn't make it
elite?
just. That doesn't make it just because he did that. Because it's obvious not just him. There are other players involved there, and who knows how the game plays out. What if it's so you're telling me if Matt Ryan throws for 3 interceptions, but they win the game because it's a 7-0 game and there was a pick 6, does that make Matt Ryan elite?
But what you're doing is you're basing a lot of these quarterbacks in terms of being elite on having a ring.
Right,
but
that's because they were behind.
Super Bowls, that doesn't necessarily mean they had outstanding performances.
Yeah, I know, and I'm trying to use all that, but I'm saying I think leading that team to a championship has to be one of the minimums. Does it like Trent Dilfer? I love Trent Dilfer. He's a good friend. But he's not elite. He won a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens, right? So that's my point there.
Right.
He wasn't the reason why they won that championship, all right? So that's where I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to say that you have to have a ring to be elite, but then once you get into that conversation, then, well, Trent Dilfer's not making the cut. Dilfer's not making the cut compared to Drew Brees, for example. Right? Drew Brees has a ring, but I think he's up there right next to Tom Brady more so than Eli and Ben, who have multiple rings.
Okay. So Joe Flacco is elite and Matt Ryan is not. That would be...
No, I didn't say Joe Flacco's elite. I don't believe he's elite.
But Matt Ryan's below Joe Flacco.
Yes, because at least in the conversation, my point is if you're going to talk about this elite quarterback, then Joe's on the outside looking in my opinion.
So, wow. So Joe Flacco, who has a ring, is below the elite level, and then Matt Ryan is below that.
Correct.
Oh, my goodness.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
But Russell Wilson is up there. I don't know if he's elite. I actually don't know if Russell Wilson is elite.
We have to figure out what your definition of elite is. Okay, is Ben Roethlisberger elite?
Yeah. Ben and Eli are there.
And Eli's elite.
Yeah. Okay. Ben and Eli, as well as, of course, Tom Brady and Drew Brees. I mean, look, quarterback play overall in this NFL is not a really good thing, right? We're seeing the lack of depth.
Right.
And we're just seeing at the very top, the guys who are at the very top are really good, like all-time great.
Well, that's why I think that in order to be elite, because it's so
Aaron
hard to
Rodgers,
be a great
by the way,
quarterback.
another guy, won Super Bowl ring, he's elite.
Of course he's elite.
Okay.
I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL,
Yeah.
so of course he's elite. But in order to be elite in the NFL, and because quarterbacking is so difficult in the NFL, that's why I end up giving the elite title to some of these guys who maybe you wouldn't look at as elite when you first glance at them because they don't have the Super Bowl ring or because, X, Y, and Z. But I still feel like they are elite because it's so difficult to be a quarterback, especially a starting quarterback in the National Football League.
Look,
so
I'm just telling you how I feel
no,
about it.
I understand. For sure.
And I could be convinced. If you can come up with some convincing arguments on, say, Russell Wilson and Joe Flacco, I could buy it probably.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying right now, first glance, it's one of those things like, well, if you have to think about it, then it probably isn't. Like as far as a Hall of Famer, right? We talk about that all the time with various athletes. Is he a Hall of Famer? If I have to think about it, then is he really a Hall of Famer? Like, I'm not having to think about Derek Jeter as a Hall of Famer in baseball.
Right.
Alex Rodriguez has the numbers. My only reservation would be, and hesitation would be, whether or not he gets in because of the connections to PEDs, for example. And those are different issues.
Well, okay. My main argument for Matt Ryan, I think, is because of all the NFL seasons and all the different offenses, to be in the top 10 and to be one of the biggest factors that your offense was one of the best offenses that's ever existed in the NFL, puts you in that elite category.
I would say, though, look at a guy like Phillip Rivers. Is he elite? He's in offenses that are high-flying offenses, and they rack up some serious numbers, right?
Yes.
He's a great fantasy quarterback, or used to be a great fantasy quarterback.
Absolutely.
But is he an elite quarterback?
No, I would not
All right,
say that.
See, so then that's the same argument you have with Matt Ryan, I think.
But Phillip Rivers is not in that category of Matt Ryan in terms of best offenses ever in the NFL.
Oh, well, he had some. Now, granted, Atlanta's, I think, this year is ranked like maybe seventh all-time.
All-time,
So
that's huge.
We might have to pick up this conversation in 2